morning, class 8. It's me, Neha Tiwari. I'm your science teacher. Today we are going to start our first online class. So let's start our chapter. This is lesson 1. This is lesson 1 of bio. What it is? Lesson 1 of bio. Remember, bio. What's the chapter name is? Crop production and management. In this chapter, we are going to learn how crops are produced in the field and what is the management taken to yield a good crops. All living things, organisms like man, animals, plants, we all need food for our survival and growth. As we all know, without food we cannot live, we cannot survive. The green plant only can synthesize their own food. Only a green plant can synthesize their own food, not an animal, not an human beings. They what they do, they uh, need ready-made food, organic food, nutrients like carbohydrate, fats, protein, etc. for their growth and development. Man obtain his food from plant as well as animal. How, what they do? Man and animal, what they do? They obtain their food from plants and animal. Like some are herbivores, some eat flesh, some eat only vegetables, green plants. So man are obtain their food from plants as well as for animal also. In other word, we can say man has to grow plant and rear animals to meet his requirement of food. What the man do? They grow plants and rear the animals for their requirement of the food. Many types of plants are grown on a large scale in a vast field because the food grains produced by them are consumed in a large scale. बहुत से लोग बहुत ज़्यादा अमाउंट में ग्रो करते हैं क्रॉप्स. क्यों? कि उनकी कंज्यूमिंग खपत जो है ज़्यादा हो. Wheat and rice are two common example. These are called food grains. Wheat and rice are the two most common food grains which are consumed on a large scale in the field. Which is consumed by us on a large scale, which is grown in the field. In addition of food grains, pulses, vegetables and fruit are also grown on a large scale because they are important part of our food. The animals such as cow and buffalo are reared to obtain their milk, whereas goat, fish and hen are reared to get meat and eggs. In this chapter, now we will study the different practices obtaining for food from both plant as well as from animal. In this chapter, we are going to learn how plants and animal give us the food. Before we go to the further, we should know the meaning of word crop. Let us discuss what the mean of crops. When the same kind of plant are grown in the field on a large scale to obtain food like cereals, grain, wheat, rice, maize, pulses, it is called crops. जब कोई भी प्लांट किसी भी तरह का लार्ज स्केल पे ज़्यादा अमाउंट में किसी एक फील्ड में उगाया जाए, उसे क्या कहते हैं? हम क्रॉप्स कहते हैं. और वो सीरियल्स क्रॉप्स होने चाहिए लाइक वीट, राइस, वेजिटेबल, पल्सेस. ओके. सो जब किसी लार्ज अमाउंट में कोई भी प्लांट उगाया जाए जो फूड हो, जिनसे हमें फूड मिलता हो, लाइक वीट, राइस, वेजिटेबल, फ्रूट आर कॉल्ड क्रॉप्स. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, crops of wheat mean that plant grown in the field are that of wheat. wheat crop का मतलब क्या है? कि जो प्लांट हमने फील्ड में सो किया वो किसका प्लांट होगा? वीट का होगा. किसका? वीट. वीट माने गेहूं. क्रॉप्स आर ऑल्सो कॉल्ड फसल इन हिंदी. क्रॉप्स को हिंदी में हम क्या कहते हैं? फसल. क्रॉप्स आर ग्रोन इन द सॉइल इन द फील्ड बाय फार्मर and crops are grown in the field by the who grow the crops in the field? Farmer. As you all know, farmer means kisan. Some of the example of crops are given below, like see, cereal crops are wheat, paddy, maize, millet and barley. Pulses means dal, like gram, pea, beans. Oil seed, जिनसे हमें ऑयल मिलता हो, like mustard, groundnut and sunflower. Vegetables, tomato, cabbage, spinach, potato, etc. fruits, banana, grapes, guava, mango, orange, etc. Now types of crop. Different crops grown well in different season of the year. और अभी हम पढ़ेंगे कि कितने तरह के क्रॉप्स होते हैं और वो कौन कौन से सीजन में ग्रो किए जाते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल क्रॉप्स many grow well in rainy season during summer but it may not grow well in winter. कई क्रॉप्स ऐसे होते हैं जो समर सीजन में अच्छे होते हैं, विंटर में नहीं, और कुछ ऐसे होते हैं जो विंटर में होते हैं बट समर में नहीं. Similarly, another crops may grow well in the winter season but not in rainy season. Based on the season in which they grow, all the crops are categorized into two groups. They are categorized into two groups. Two types of crop which are categorized in two groups are Kharif crops and Rabi crops. Which are they? Kharif crop and Rabi crops. How many types of crop we have? Kharif and Rabi. Two types of crop, that are Kharif and Rabi. The crops which are sown in the rainy season are called Kharif crop. The crops which are sown in rainy season are called Kharif crop. जो फसल हम रेनी सीजन में लगाते हैं, सोन मीन्स लगाना, सो इट इज कॉल्ड खरीफ क्रॉप. The rainy season in India is generally from June to September. June to September month, it is what rainy season in India. The sowing of Kharif crop start in June and July at the beginning of the south-west monsoon. Kharif crop हम कब सोन करना स्टार्ट करते हैं फील्ड में? जून एंड जुलाई में, इन द बिगनिंग ऑफ साउथ वेस्ट मॉनसून. बिकॉज दीज क्रॉप्स नीड substantial amount of water, they need large amount of water, that's why we sow these crops in the rainy season. The kharif crop are harvested at the end of monsoon season. The kharif crop are harvested means when they cut from the field. Understood? Harvested means when they cut from the field. It is harvested in the end of the monsoon season during September to October. Some of the example of kharif crops are paddy, maize, millet, soya bean, groundnut and cotton. These are the example of kharif crops. The kharif crop is something also called summer crops. Kharif crops को हम एक चीज और भी कहते हैं, that is summer crops. What it is? Summer crops. Understood? Please note that the paddy is rice still in the husk. Husk means bhusa. Please remember, husk means bhusa. So paddy crops give us rice. In other word, paddy is a rice crop. और other word में हम ये भी कह सकते हैं that paddy is a rice crop. Paddy is grown only in the rainy season because it requires lots of water. Paddy cannot be grown in the winter season because water level in the winter is much less. On the other hand, if wheat is sown in the kharif crop, it will not grow well because wheat require less water. If we sow the wheat in the month of rainy season, it will not grow well at all. This is because wheat plant cannot be tolerate too much water of the rainy season. The crops grown in the winter season are called rabi crops. The crops which are grown in summer season and harvested in the last of the monsoon is called kharif crop, and the crop which are grown in winter season are called rabi crops. The time period of rabi crop is generally from October to March. The sowing of rabi crops begin at the beginning of winter. And the sowing means जब फील्ड में हम उनको लगाते हैं, कब लगाते हैं? At the beginning of winter, which is October to November, and the crops are harvested by the March. In the which month the rabi crops are harvested? In the month of the March to April. Some of the example of rabi crops are wheat, corn, peas, mustard and linseed. Understood? The people who have no permanent home and continuously move from one place to another called nomads or vendors till about 10,000 BC. BC means before Christ. Before Christ, people are nomadic. They are continuous moving in a group from one place to another in the search of food and shelter. पहले के समय में मीन्स 10,000 BC बिफोर क्या होता, पीपल के पास कोई सर्टेन प्लेस और सर्टेन चीज़ें नहीं थी, वो एक जगह से दूसरी जगह मूव करते थे इन द सर्च ऑफ फूड एंड शेल्टर. द नोमेडिक पीपल्स ate raw fruits and vegetable. Raw fruit means kacha. They eat raw food and vegetables found in the nature and start hunting animals for their food. Later they settle at the source of water such as river and cultivated land to produce wheat, paddy, rice and other food begin. This is how agriculture born. In this para we have learned how the beginning of agriculture has been started. Means before 10,000 BC the people were not eat the people were not eat the cooked food. They eat raw vegetables and fruit from the nature, and slowly they moved near side of river, and slowly they started growing the crops. How this way the agriculture comes in the form. Now our next topic is basic practice of crop production. How the basic practice is needed for the crop production. Means क्या क्या practice basic हो जो हमें crop production के लिए आनी चाहिए. In order to raise the crop successfully or profitable of food production, a farmer has to perform a large number of tasks in a sequence. फसल को अच्छा पाने के लिए, प्रॉफिटेबल फूड हो एग्रीकल्चर फील्ड में, उसमें कुछ टास्क फार्मर को सीक्वेंस में लाइन से करने होते हैं. द टास्क वेरियस टास्क आर परफॉर्म बाय द फार्मर produce a good crops is called agriculture practice, and these tasks which are performed by the farmer to get a good yield of crops is known as agriculture practice. फार्मर जो तरीके अच्छे से अपनाते हैं गुड यील्ड करने के लिए, क्रॉप्स को अच्छे अमाउंट में ग्रो करने के लिए सीक्वेंस से एक के बाद एक, दिस प्रैक्टिस इज नोन एज एग्रीकल्चर प्रैक्टिस. द वेरियस एग्रीकल्चर प्रैक्टिस विच आर कैरीड आउट बाय द स्टेज ऑफ क्रॉप प्रोडक्शन आर, क्या क्या है प्रैक्टिसेस? प्रिपरेशन ऑफ सॉइल, सॉइल को प्रिपेयर करना, सोइंग, बीज को लगाना, एडिंग मैन्योर एंड फर्टिलाइजर, सॉइल में मैन्योर और फर्टिलाइजर को मिलाना, इरिगेशन, सिंचाई, देन आफ्टर रिमूवल ऑफ वीड्स, अनवांटेड प्लांट्स. व्हाट आर वीड्स? रिमेंबर व्हाट आर वीड्स? वीड्स आर अनवांटेड प्लांट. व्हाट आर वीड्स? लेट मी राइट फॉर यू. वीड्स आर अनवांटेड. What are weeds? Weeds are unwanted plant. What are weeds? Weeds are unwanted plant in the field. Now harvesting, cutting of crops and storage of food grains. After harvesting they are stored. So these are the 7 basic practices farmer needs to do for yielding a good crops. In addition to these regular agriculture practices, one more agriculture practice is called rotation of the crops. In 7 stage के बाद एक important है, that is rotation of the crops. Now it is undertaken sometime to improve the fertility of the soil and increase the crop yielding. Why the rotation of the crops is needed for the field? To improve the fertility of soil and increase the crop yield. जब हम एक ही तरह का सॉइल हमेशा एक ही तरह का फूड हमेशा एक ही सॉइल में हम एक ही प्लेस पे ग्रो करेंगे तो क्या होगा, धीरे धीरे उसकी फर्टिलिटी सॉइल की कम होती जाएगी. सो फील्ड आर नॉट गिव द लार्ज अमाउंट ऑफ क्रॉप yield. That's why crop rotation is very important for the field. The various agriculture practice requires certain tools or implements which are called agriculture implement, and for the preparation of the soil and to grow the crops there are certain implement or tools are used in the agriculture field. We will now describe the agriculture practice in detail to know how food is produced on a large scale. Now we will read one by one each stages how the soil is prepared for the food grown on a large scale. This we read in the next online class, so better please revise your explanation of this first chapter, that is crop and the management, crop production and management. Please revise the explanation again. It's a humble request. If you not revise your chapter, you are not able to understand what I have taught you. So please go through the explanation again and again. That is better for your next topic. Okay, bye bye, goodbye. Have a nice day.